animal, whether it be a chimp or a chimpanzee or a monkey or so or whatever they say that we had derived from with doctored this arts and crafts archaeology, then you see how the ridiculous of it is. And even when they started to construct this understanding of whiteness, the Chinese were angered because they said, hey, we're as light as you are, if not lighter, because they also have a lot of light pink people. They have a lot of light red people. Those are the main structure of the color of and the lightest. So they may even surpass a lot of the Europeans into the lightest. And what happens then is that then they go into eye color or whatever, or eye shape, but when you look carefully at a lot of these Europeans, you'll see that some Europeans do have Asiatic features, and although they may not admit it, or they have a lot of some Europeans also have what they call African tribe features, such as a full body or lips or a bigger nose. But then again, there's Africans with small noses and smaller lips. But they always try to stereotype something as it is factual throughout the gamut of the variety or the colors of wheat that we are, that it's nothing more than a scale, as opposed to us being a particular skin color, one person being a skin color that when they have a baby they can't duplicate unless they're with another person that's the same skin color. That's ridiculous. But again, as you continue on, everything is a petal until eventually I open up the flower, and then you be like, oh snap! Because it becomes more ridiculous the more you understand it, and then it's a broader. Again, it's a flow. If you're just looking at a point here and a point there, two people can argue indefinitely, illogically. But if both of the people arguing are debating to yield to truth, with the same objective to yield to truth, not to see who's right or wrong, but to see where can we get to as a higher understanding, then the two people will work together and become smarter and stronger by debating and arguing, as opposed to those who wants to debate and arguing out of ignorance, which neither one holds the key, or that one person wants to drag you down because they want to go anti and basically believe in nothing, stand for nothing, fall for nothing, and that includes life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So we go from this one genome, again, separated from itself, shown in different varieties in our civilization on this planet, and it's made and completing, and to complement and help one another with all our assets and our understanding, and so it was the original source. And to get even a further picture, after the deluge, or the problems that this biblically it says that man was on the road of self-annihilation had it not been for the deluge or the great flood, which then was able to continue a tribe, most likely a tribe with what they call the all tribe, the ebony Asiatic man, which was all colors. Just looking at him, it just looks like he looks like an old man. He's got green or blue eyes, blonde, black hair, red hair. Could stand like 6 feet or between 5 foot and 6 foot, and He's not real dark chocolate, but he's not light pink. He's just like a tan. He's right in the middle. But he can go either way, and just like any one of us. So, besides these, all our colors or whatever, but each one of us was born with our own talents and gifts, and that's where the principalities come from. Principalities come from, like in the Bible, saying, you know, how people were assigned for. In other words, it's like there's a picture that wants to be painted, but we are all pieces of a puzzle. But unless we start to work with another, we can't see the picture. So we're looking at a busted puzzle. But once we start to understand one another and have all the same one education and understanding, from this general point in this human genome, that is the atom, both male and female, the tribe, which is a fuller genetic code, and over time we can break off of this ignorance that we're currently living in. Because as we continue, you'll see the ridiculousness of it all.
So what is race? What is race? A course of life, or a course like a racetrack, a contest of speed, which is an actual race. There's long semantic properties of race. Direction of opposition, a long period over time. So race can also be rivalry. Race, again, could also be progress towards, or the end of, like the end of a race, or a goal. And another definition of race, semantic property, is to speed out of control, like your heart is racing. And another one is race, a category of humans that share a certain distinct or same ancestry, physical traits, which is probably the best one because basically it's a tribe, and tribes and families that grow into larger tribes do have the same likeness of reasonable facsimile thereof. But that being said, even with the physical traits on race, if you look closely, you can see doppelgangers across races throughout continents. And you'd be like, you go to another continent and be like, yo, that guy reminds me of my cousin, of my uncle, all over the world. But you see how this, what we call race to divide, it's actually a one solid ancestry. But some people just want to create division. But we need to find the understanding in which you can easily see and trace back to the origins. And a lot of times it was just used to divide and conquer for war. But again, when you divide people, it's usually because of their beliefs. So territories are because we don't want your venomous belief system to pollute our system. But sometimes it's just another venomous system versus another venomous system. So one people conquer another, they get mad, they conquer them and back. And that's the way it works. So there's never peace because, first of all, they don't have the correct system, which is the human instruction. And second of all, that's the problem, because if you don't have the system, you create a problem, and they have the same system. So it's not about forgiveness, but about revenge. So one revenges the other one passes time or wait for them to become stronger, so then they can avenge, and this war lasts forever because the system is always death. And so people draw lines in order to keep that negativity out, not realizing sometimes the negativity is within. So we need to, first of all, we can separate only to create the right society. And once you do that, then you must reach out to other societies, because we're all in this together. So if you're doing good and your neighbor's doing bad, we must make an attempt to try to help them in any which way we can, but first we must divide and fix yourself up. And once you clean yourself up, and then you can easily then take the plank out of your brother's eye, because you see clearly now. And then once they see that you're doing good and you're helping them, and then you're no longer the enemy but a friend. So you work with one another, and then the belief system starts to increase, and then we no longer have this versus that, but there's us, and we work together, and we see the beauty in one another, and then we create the higher energy, which then the dark spirit will then what do you call that? Turn into a sort of dying bird, and then as it dies out, it's reborn into this beautiful dragon. And as opposed to the one that's dying because it was only there because you fed it. So you fed the flame, and then once the flame is gone, it has to die. But it still needs, negatives always need positive. Without the positive, the negative dies on its own. The only reason it succeeds, or it lives, or it even breathes, is because it has constant energy going in, because it's not producing energy, it's only taking. And so it's no longer hate, but wisdom and knowledge and understanding in our system. So you would be fair without emotion, without prejudice, but the law that works for all under one universal law of hypocrisy and based on truth. One universal law based on the rule of hypocrisy, which basically means you don't break the hypocrisy, based on truth and not deception, not to covet, but to grow all, and we can all benefit together. As opposed to these people who like to worship death, which is death, but they want to bring you along with them, but the rule of hypocrisy, it destroys them, because you don't want to die. It's their decision to die. So by their rule, by trying to force their rule upon you, even after you had explained it to them, that's your what you want to do. That's not what we want to do. We want to live. We want to live in peace. But if you want to die and you want to take everybody with you, that's your decision. So you can do that by yourself and still complete your goal without having to worry about other consequences that you may not like, because you are a hypocrite. So your own rules you can't live by, which then you follow your own destiny, and you're destined to go to where you are by your own decision. So we can make it together as a group, or we need to find those who are destroying the group in order to corral them so they can live in their own little bubble and be happy with all this hate and nonsense and this confusion that they want to be in. So if they want all this, well, then put them all together, let them have their own little tribe, and knock yourself out. This way the good people aren't interrupted. But they're separated, corralled into their own self-hatred and denial. But we need to start separating the media, education, so we can have create the good dragon, the good air, and we can all enlighten us and feel massive amounts of love and peace, as opposed to all this hatred. And so therefore the evil phoenix is going to die. So all the feeling of feeling useless, and feeling frustrated, to feeling anger, to feeling less than, all dissipate. it'll evaporate. I don't care if you're the LGBTQ or one of the letter alphabet people, or if you're a racist or whatever it is. Once you figure out the universal the human instruction, universal concepts, you'll be able to distinguish exactly what's the chink in your chain. It's almost like you're a messed up Rubik's Cube, and the human instruction is just gonna balance you out. And once you balanced out, all that brainwashing is just going to drop out of you. A lot of people is just going to be negative people who is just like, wait a minute, there's something wrong with my understanding, because we're going to go through click by click. We're going to go by every thought you probably imagined or you ever had and how way things work, and then you'll be able to see clearly, as opposed to seeing blurry and then constantly in problems, and you're wondering why. You can't go around slapping people and thinking or lying about people and think, oh, this is right, just because you made the mistake, you hurt yourself, and now the guy or the girl who's right, now they become a problem because they know that you're a lying person. It's all a lie, it's all deception. And some people think that they can kill people, but that's what they call unfinished business. That dead body or that dead spirit is going to be waiting for you, and people who back up that people. Now you say, oh, it's just a lie. But some people are coming for you now, and that's only because you continue to be on this negative journey in which you don't want to learn, but regurgitate the same problem, and then wondering why are you surrounded with problems. So what are we describing then in race with all these semantic different properties? Of course, all this was made up a while back, but as we continue, it'll all flower out, and you'll begin to understand how things work. So we're getting down to another form of race. First, the races could be actually an actual race. It could be rivalry. It could be a goal. It has nothing to do with the DNA, but this is just a definition of what they had compounded or put our understanding into that word. So, what's actual race? What's it describing? A course of life, a contest of speed, a direction of time is also a race, as in rivalry, including progress toward a goal. Well, what's the goal? To move to the top, the speed or speed out of control, the race out of control. And again, all these definitions are mostly negative. And so it's a category of humankind that shares certain distinct physical traits. Now, again, that can be in family, but they call it a race, or a tribe. The tribe is, for me, is good too, especially over a long period of time and with many people, and then they'll call that a race, when the reality is, and then they'll call one race, but when you start to look at all the different tribes in the race, it's like everything else. You'll find tall tribes, small tribes, different colors within that continent. So, let's say Africa, like they were always all, I don't know what color they had expected all Africans to be. They'd be real dark or lighter dark, but Africans come in a wide variety of colors all around the whole continent. And that's, again, due to separation and through these tribes, through families that grow bigger and bigger, and that's why you keep seeing the same features. So, then they grow, and you need orders and laws and regulations, and where you start creating cultures and songs. And a lot of people think that, well, we're separating because of culture and tribes, or what some people call race, but I don't use race, I use tribes. We're more or less tribal. Everybody's tribal. You got your nerd crew, you got your cool crew, you got your doctors crew, or doctors, people who band together, work together because they have common interests. So we could use that, but the problem is when you have too much negative common interest, and all you have is a variety of anarchy with confusing beliefs, core beliefs that creates from the source to the belief, to the action, and to the outcome, and to the actual destiny, not to mention your culture and your your reputation. So somebody can be like, oh, they're that person, that tribe. Whether it's true or not, you can override that